Hey guys, welcome back. And now let's talk about learning and improving and what are the pros and cons of both sides and what might go wrong. So, again, the learning is the knowledge, the accumulation of knowledge. Improving is getting the skills to use that knowledge also in the games where we want to excel. First, you learn, then you improve. And learning without improving is only theoretical knowledge. And improving without learning means that you have skills, but you don't have the basics. You would not have general ideas like control the center, right? In the opening. Some people just start on the sides and they don't really control the center, or to have some basic positional ideas, to have some basic endgame ideas. You don't have those fundamentals, and this will go wrong as well. Now you can imagine learning to be the empty jar. When you learn a new motive, you add this jar to your collection. Okay, you have added the potential, but you don't have practical relevance yet. This empty jar is not helping you during a game. Okay, if you bring that during a game, well, it's just empty. You won't be able to really use it. Now, what comes when you improve is that you fill this jar up. Okay, the problem is that whenever you fill it up, this jar always has a hole, okay? So we always lose a little bit of the skills over time. That's what we mean when we say we are rusty, right? Maybe we didn't improve for 3 months. That means this jar got a little bit more empty and we need to fill it up again to get to the same level that we were before. But we won't lose this full jar. And the idea is for us to have a great selection of various ideas that we learned and then can also improve during a game. But it's very important to really have this idea of, oh, if I just amass an amount of empty jars, that won't really help me during the game, right? I might maybe enjoy thinking about chess in theory, but if you want to see results in practice, then you need to fill them up as well so you can really use them during a game. So how does learning look like? It's something new. It's the fundamentals, okay? So especially on your guys' level, you will need to learn the basics in endgames, to learn the basics in tactics, to learn the basics in positional chess, to learn the basics of every segment of chess, and then to improve upon it. It can be done passively. And it's a typical teaching style in school. It's like somebody passes you on some knowledge. You can do it via a book. You can have a book that explains the most important mating motives. Okay, so you learn new motives because you didn't see them before. Now you learned them. From when you learned them and you understood them, that means you can improve upon them later on. Okay, you can also have courses. You can do it with a coach. You can have somebody teaching you. It's very much, teacher style, and you learn something. For example, also at the moment you're listening to my voice and seeing this presentation, that means you take notes and it's maybe something new. So you learned something. Okay. Now, there is something that is a little bit dangerous, is that understanding and concept can make things look simple. Okay, I had this, for example, when I recently started poker. So what I did is buy a masterclass of one of the best poker players in the world, and he explained some of the basic things. Okay, so it was me watching a video. Again, it's quite passive, and he says, well, you need to take care that you have position. Okay, I need to have position. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. When you raise this amount. Okay, yeah. You need to raise these kind of hands. Yeah, well, I mean, seems very simple. Why, where comes the difficulty? And then you sit down the first time at a poker table and you're like, oh, wait, so now this guy already raised. So what do I do? Or this guy raises way more than he should. What does that mean? How does that change my game, right? And then it starts to be difficult. But when you only hear the beginning explanation, you seem like, oh yeah, don't double your pawns. Sure, I never double my pawns anymore. That's it. I learned something. Dumb, easy. I go to play a game. Next game, you come back. Hey, why did you just double your pawns? You're like, yeah, but I thought that. So it's not so easy to actually put that into work. You might in the beginning think, oh yeah, that's easy. I just saw this mating pattern now in every game. I will just find it. That's not how it works. Luckily, actually, because it would be way too easy and then chess wouldn't be fun anymore. So yeah, let's go to the dangers of learning. It can make us a little bit addicted. What does that mean? Because every time we get this new chart, it's like, oh my God, we have some sort of accomplishment, right? We feel that we accomplished something. I learned something new today. But the problem is, if we don't improve upon it, we will not be able to show it during the game. It's much easier than improving. And this might be for some of you, you're like, that's easy. That's cool. I will do a lot of that. Well, the problem is that when you get this feeling of accomplishment and when it's easier than improving, maybe your knowledge is somewhere completely different than your skills. And you're like, well, I know everything about positional chess. Next game, boom, you blunder a piece in one. Well, congratulations. You know a lot about positional chess, but in practical value, improving a little bit your tactics would maybe be smart, because then you can actually get to a level where the positional chess really makes a difference. Okay. And some people also have the feeling really of this quantity again. I just learn more, and it's better, read more books, learn more things, and have these phrases, control the center, do this, do that. But then when it comes to a concrete game, you lack the skills. So that is the biggest part. Okay. Every danger of the learning is basically that most people do this too much. There's too much, content consumed and not enough real improvement going on. So let's go. What is actually improvement? Improvement can be repetitive because it's the same pattern again and again. So let's say you learned something, you learned this checkmate pattern. Okay. Now you get a position you need to solve. That means improvement. You need to use your own head. Okay. You need to do it actively. Use your own head, and then you solve this position. But then it's not that now you solved it once, now you can solve it in a game. No, you need to solve it over and over again. And maybe you get to a point where you're pretty confident with it, but in a month, you need to solve it again. In 2 months, you need to solve it again. So improvement is basically never ending, but it can be a little bit repetitive because it can be the same patterns over and over again. For example, for me, to take an example of another sport, when I did this service in tennis, when I learned tennis, I needed to do the same movement over and over and over again. And now is the end of season. I played the last time in end October, and I will get back in April. And it's not that I will just do the first serve and it will be perfect again. Now at least I know how I should do the movement, but I need, again, reps, get some reps in to really do it the way that I'm used to. That's where improvement comes in. And the better you get, the more you realize it is really hard, okay? That's you start to improve and then you're like, this is, and it could get even more difficult like this. And that's something I still don't know. And that's something I know, but I can't utilize during the game yet. And then you will realize, oh my God, yeah, chess is quite difficult, okay? So that's why improving is the harder part of chess study, but also where you see more results, but also the part that more people neglect. And that's why they have problems. That's why you might not make, jumps at the moment. You might feel stuck at the moment because you are learning a lot, but you're not really improving. You're not really getting what you learn, the skills to really put it into a game and then show it off right there. Okay, this counts for everybody, okay? Every single human on this planet has to work on improvement or they will get worse. Again, other sportsmen. Federer still has a coach, now he's retired, but when he was still active, even if he was the best in the world, he still needed to go to the court and train and train and train. And maybe a shot he hit already 1,000 times, but if he doesn't hit it for half a year, he will come back after an injury and he will miss it for quite some time. So that's where we talk about improvement. You never stop improving. There is no limit. Okay, you can always get a little bit better, get a little bit closer to perfection. So what are the dangers of improving? It's the risk of losing motivation because it's maybe not as fun as the learning part. Okay, and if you do the wrong difficulty of puzzles, then you might get really bad motivation because you think, I'm so bad, right? So I studied once a book when I was a grandmaster, okay? And I talked to someone I know, and this person was rated 2200. And turns out we are studying the same book. We are solving the same exercises, and this person didn't improve. They just completely stagnated, and they were even losing motivation. And after this talk, I was like, well, it's obvious, right? I mean, how can you try to solve the same puzzles that I struggle solving, but I'm a grandmaster and you're rated 2200, right? So there is a risk of losing motivation if you just take way too hard material. Well, you will feel bad about yourself and you might quit. Second problem is that doing it with 80% focus won't do anything. Okay, here it's really even more important that we're fully there, because there is no coach to help us out. There is no one to just send us knowledge or way, right? Nobody talking and we can just listen a little bit and maybe think for something else. No, we need to look at a position and to try to solve it the best way possible, just like it would be during a game. And that's why real big focus, full focus is important. Sometimes it's not spectacular, okay? Again, it's a little bit repetitive and you don't learn something new. So you get the feeling of, well, in theory, I knew this already and now I know how to apply it. But it's really just where the improvement lies. Okay, guys, it is called improving because the improvement will come when you improve, okay? And once more, the exercises must fit your current abilities or your time is wasted. And it might even have a bad effect on your mental, on your mindset, on your motivation. So if you get it too easy, then you won't really learn something because, well, it was automatic to you. You won't really improve. If it is too hard, then you will make so many mistakes that you feel quite bad about yourself. So this is important. But at the end of the course, when you will select all your things, I will talk about what is the exact right or the more or less right difficulty level for you to solve things, and then you make sure that you solve the right things. So that's it already. That's the difference between learning and improving in chess improvement. And now you are ready. You have all the basics that you need, and we can jump right into tactics. Because why did I choose tactics as the first one? Because it's the most important one. It's where you see most results. It's where you make probably the most mistakes. It's where you lose the most games in, but you also win the most games in. So it's really what matters most. And that's why it is only logical that we have it as the first thing that you learn how to study tactics, and then we can move on to other things. Okay, guys, see you in the tactics session.